Hello everybody. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes here until other people show up. Meanwhile, I'm just going to start marking these off a little bit. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm just marking some of this off already. Hang on just a second. I feel wet. Let's see here. I'll be right back. Alright. I'm back. I just had to go look for something here, and I thought I had another one here somewhere, so I've got to spray up a new one. Alright, we're going to do this little guy. Got my hot chocolate ready. It's going to be a cold couple of days coming up. Hello, Kenneth and Denise. Hi, Dean. That's really strange. Or what did I do with that? Don't know. Alright. Doesn't matter. We'll get started anyway. Okay, now I have two different sizes here. Hello, Jack and Jenny. We're going to do the smaller one just to save some time. And we're going to get started right away here. What we're going to do here is we're going to use a 2 3/4 inch length of wood by 1.5 by 1.5. And what I do is I normally taper it at the top, okay, and then I round it off at the bottom. So this is completely straight, and this one's is a bit of a turn. Now, this will, if you buy these will be all different sizes. Some of these will be smaller, some of them will be a little bit off like this is. So you can tell that's not really square. So I'm just going to take my knife and, whoops, wrong knife. Take this knife and I'm going to just go across it a little bit. Just to even it up a little bit. Now if you really want to know where you're at with this, you may want to go right down the center, alright, and go all the way down to the middle. And this gives you a reference where everything is, the center, okay? You're always going to work towards the center. Now I've done a couple of videos already on how to make this pine cone, and it's a very simple thing. You don't have to put the face in. You could just make it into a pine cone and it will look like that, alright? But if you want to put a face in it, and this is something I came up new last year. So let me do the center line, okay, all the way around. So now we have a good idea where the center is everywhere. We're going to take this all the way down and around. Now I don't usually do this because I've done so many of them, but this, for the beginners, it's really good to, hello Beth and Tony, it's good to try to have a reference point sometimes, because you don't want to carve off too much, otherwise you're going to have it lopsided. So the first thing we're going to do here with this little guy is we're going to mark it right up here. It's about 1/8 of an inch or less. You're going to just mark it each corner, and this is at the top of the block, okay? Now, I just did a video that I have these available, and I do. The large and the small, so if you need some and you don't have if you don't have basswood, you can go to my online store. I'll have that posted with the YouTube channel later on. And oh, by the way, Beth and Jim, the cocoa was terrific. I drank the first one the other day, so it was great. Let's see here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this here and this center line, so we're going to just kind of bring this around. But before we do that, let's just go ahead and notch each corner up, okay? So we're going to just go down, and you're going to be very careful that you don't notch the top off. That would not be a good thing to do. Okay, so you notice I'm using my thumbs. I don't use the force of my hand when I do this. And we're just going to keep trimming a little bit on each side. I just keep like a little curvature at the bottom of this. Hello, carving Popeye. Alright. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm doing this live on Facebook, and that's why I'm saying hello to people as they're joining the room. And sometimes I'll answer questions. They come up. Good to know, Paula. Yeah, we miss you having you here and chatting with you every so often. But when you're back out this way, let me know. I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right, so we got each corner done, right? So from there, we need to put this line out. Okay, this area here. So what we do, since you already have that center line there, that kind of tells you where the center is, we're just going to go like this. Just put a little upside down V. Okay, or a Y. All right. That's a good idea to do it upside down. So you can turn it the other way. It's sometimes easier going from the bottom up. We're going to do each one. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it will be right in that middle section there. These pine cones are really addictive to do these if you've done it. I have one person that I taught how to carve, and she loves doing these, and this is pretty well what she does, is pine cones. And one year I did about 80 of them. No, I'm sorry, 60 of them, all different sizes, and I put them in a green tree with white lights, and it looked really nice. So if you go to my one picture, you'll see it, a bit of it. It's really neat what you can do with these. So you're going to take your knife, and you're going to follow this all the way up. One. And be careful. You're going to do it kind of deep, all right? I'm going to do all of them at the same time so I don't have to go back and forth. I'm just going to take my time tonight, folks. I want to make sure you understand how to do this in the face. Try to do as much of this online as I can for you. You notice I have this sitting on the table while I'm pushing down because it's just a little bit easier. I've had a lot of new friend requests this week. I must have had 200 or more. The phone keeps going, keeps beeping all the time that there's more people. So what we're going to do is we're going to undercut this, and we're just going to cut that corner out, just like so, okay? You just want to be real careful that you don't nick a lot of stuff out, but that's going to be kind of deep right there, okay? So that's all right if it's deep, and then I just come back around, clean that up a bit, and we do each corner that way. All right, notice it's a little deep there. Now, if it doesn't come out free like this, you're just going to go back and you're going to recut it. All right. I went to the bank this past week, and the lady at the bank said, "Oh, I saw you were carving, but you kind of lost me when I was drawing everything on here." So I'm thinking of doing some templates for some of these later on to go with the DVDs. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but a template that you can lay it on there and trace it, or some other way. Some people get lost with where do you start with the lines and how far down do you go. There's no right or wrong way of doing it, but of course, if you're too far off, it's not going to look right. So I'll see what I can do about that. All right, I'm just doing all 4 corners, and of course, because this is definitely a block and we're not trying to make it round, it will still have that blocky look when you're done with this, but it won't look like that. But it will still be just like the Santas. They'll, you know, when you look at these, they're still square. All right, they're not. They look rounded, but they're not, because there's a flat side here, flat side over here, and of course we do the face from the corner. So once we get this done a little bit, so I'm going to pick a corner here, and I'm going to pick this one because it's not too deep yet, and we're going to just fix that up. All right, just like so. Well, let me think how I did this. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to first keep going a little bit more. A lot of this is just going back and rounding things off. It's not real, you know, it's not rocket science. You know, it's just taking your time and evening things up a little bit and stuff. So once we get that done, you're going to pick a corner, all right, where the where this thing comes down. Now, some of these are a little longer than others. They're all different when you cut them. I don't use the same template. I just do it by eyeball, how far down, and I cut it. So they can vary from time to time, how deep they are and stuff. So if I'm looking at this, I am going to put the face right here. So this is where the nose is going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of match this up so I know exactly where I'm going here. All right, so right here is the nose, okay? So we're going to go straight across, as straight as we can, and we're going to just make that notch first. All right, so we're going to come in here, we're going to just notch that out. Maybe I should have done that side instead. You don't want to cut too much off here, and I just did that, but I'm going to work with it. All right. All right. And then you're going to bring it up. So you're going to bring this around. You're going to bring this one around. Okay. And the wider the nose, remember, the cuter it is. All right, so if you don't do it wide enough and it looks skinny, it's not going to get that cute factor I always talk about. So, well, tomorrow we are supposed to get hit with a major snowstorm. So, Pennsylvania can get up to 2 feet in some areas. I think we are in either the 6 to 12 or we're on the line of 12 to 15 inches tomorrow. Now, you folks that live really in the real snowy areas, you probably don't think anything of that amount of snow, but here it seems to cripple us each and every time because of the hills and things like that. But, okay, so I'm going to keep going with this. We got this done, all right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to bring this down and around. This is going to be his eyebrow, okay? You want enough room for his eyes. All right, just like so. All right, we're going to come down a little bit further. I'm going to try to measure that from the corner where it's flat. All right, that we have it somewhat even. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. And then we're going to come up and around like this. We're going to bring this down. We're going to loop it. Just like so. All right. And they're all going to look different. You know, some are going to look different than others. We're going to bring this around just like so. All right. So now, what I need to do is I need to bring the nose in first. So let's do that. It's going to be straight in. And we're going to follow that nose out and around just like so. And we're going to have to cut that off as well. So I'm going to use my little V tool right now. And I'm going to try to just get just a little bit of an indentation to know where I'm going. All right. just like so. You're going to be using this V-tool a lot today, especially when we get to the beard. And that's a little strange how I have that done, but and I'm going to follow this all the way around to the nose. That just gives me an idea where everything goes. Let's just follow that all the way around. And if your V-tool is nice and sharp, you'll be able to go in any direction, okay? It won't be any problem to do that. So I'm going to... And there we go. Pretty close. Okay, good. Looks like he's got the mumps or something right now. Okay, so I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to go underneath here and I'm going to just dig this out a little bit deeper, okay, on either side for the top of the eyeball. Right underneath where the pines come from the branch of the tree. Okay. Then we're going to, I already cut that line out, so we're just going to scoop that out. And we're going to bring this in. Remember, this is your deepest part, is right where the nose and the eyes meet, okay? Right here is going to be your deepest part. Now I notice his nose is a little shorter than I like, but that's fine. It's a little stubbier than I thought. But I'm going to cut this again. And I'm going to cut this all the way around. I already have my line made with the V-tool. So just take your time, folks. There's no hurry. And I'm not going to hurry with this tonight. I want to make sure I get it right. So we're going to push this in. We're going to do a little triangular cut right there. Make that nice and deep. All right, we're going to just keep and just follow this all the way around. All right, just like so. We'll keep going here. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So when you cut, you're going to cut straight in. You're not going to cut this way. You're not going to cut this way. You're going to go straight in as you're looking at the corner. That's how you need to cut this nose out, because you want this to be exactly in the same direction as your corner. If you don't, your nose is going to look funny. Okay, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to cut this out. We'll cut that out first and then we'll go all the way around. Once you learn how to do these faces like this, you can do any number of things. It must be you, Jack, because I haven't lost the video. But, alright, so we're going to dig that out a little further. And we're going to dig this in a little bit more. I see I'm a little bit off the line there, so we're going to just dig this in just a tad more. Hi, Justin. Good to see some family in here from Canada joining us. Okay. And I'm going to just start sweeping this out a little bit. I'm going to drench this with some of my... Hi, Linda. You're not late. It's okay. This will definitely go on YouTube when we're done here. Hang on. So, what we're doing is we're working on the face. So now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut all the way around again. All the way around to the bottom of the nose. I'm going to dig it kind of deep there. Alright. And we're going to dig it kind of deep right there. We're going to notch that out. Yes, as I was saying, we're having a big snowstorm tomorrow. I think it's going to start in like mid-noon to afternoon. And I don't have the studs on my car yet. I was planning to do that today, but it didn't come out. So I guess I'll just stay home tomorrow for the most part. Go out a little bit in the morning and hunker down for the rest of the night. It's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. The only thing I don't like about it is I don't care to plow. If I had a cab on that tractor, it'd be a lot more pleasant, but I don't. So if it's windy or still snowing, I don't care to be on it very much. Okay, so I did each corner. I did the face. Now we're gonna keep digging the eyes a little bit further because they're not deep enough. The deepest part is right here where the eye and the top of the nose meet. That's always the deepest part. And just take your time and scoop it out. The people that ordered their lumber, I cut them up today and I got them in the mail before the storm came along. Yeah, it does look bad. I know one year we were just in that weird area and we almost got 3 foot of snow. You know, and folks, we only get that like every so often. At least once a year we get a good, hello, Franny. Francis. Franny. Anyway, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hello, Rhonda. We'll see if all this will not be as bad. Sometimes they predict these things and it's not too bad. I'm still working on the eyes. I'm trying to get them deep enough that I feel comfortable with them. And I see how I'm scooping this out. That's how you should be doing it. It shouldn't be flat like this. You should kind of... Yeah, I had a little bit of a campaign that I paid for across the United States through Facebook. And I'm telling you, I had so many new people, a couple of hundred at least, this past week, asked to join. So if you're new, welcome. I'm gonna just take that hard edge off all the way around. So really, that's part of the face now is kind of done. I'm trying to see how much further and deeper we've got to go. Well, you notice his cheeks are a lot fatter than this, okay? So, you know, we'll see what happens with this. But we also have to take an account for his beard. And you notice his beard is these little, I don't even know what the proper name is for I call it little shell type stuff from the pinecone. And see, each of these little ones, I did that with the V tool. Now, you can do it with a knife, but it would be very, very time-consuming to do it that way. But I'll show you how I did that. And then all I did was colored it 2 different shades, so you could tell that was a little, you know, that it's different. So, and I always have the beard going in a direction instead of straight down. So we're going to do that here real quick. Maybe he did his face a little bit too wide, but like I said, it's never the same twice. So I'm going to bring this down right to here, and then we're going to bring this down. Let me see how I have that. Okay, we're going to bring this around here a little bit further, and then I'm going to bring it back around this way. Okay. All right. Now a little bit further out, maybe. Trying to figure out if it's far enough. No, there we go. I always measure with my finger like that, so it works out pretty good. All right, so that's where his beard's going to go, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to trim that down a little bit, just like so. Okay, trim this down a little bit here. All right, I'm going to take my V tool, and I'm going to follow this out. So we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to go up and around this way. All right. And you can turn it a little bit at the top there. And then the same thing over here. And so I got the diesel fuel for the tractor. I got my propane for the heater in case we're out of electric. I do have a generator, but I don't like running it a whole lot. If I can not run it, I prefer not to. So I have a Mr. Buddy heater. I absolutely love it. I use it a lot here in the house. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit. I'm going to just trim all this out a little bit here. Okay, we're going to just follow this out one more time with the knife. And over here the same way. And I'll make a DVD of the different, the pine cones. Okay, just like so. Alright, now we're going to put his other part in there. We're going to redo a lot of this. This is time consuming. You know, I can usually knock one of these out in a couple hours if I'm really at it. And I'm talking about the larger ones, the 3.5 inches. But I find when you do the faces, of course, everything takes much, much longer to do. And that's okay. We're going to bring this down. Now we're going to separate and put his mouth in there. So let's just go from the center here. And let's just bring this out like so. And like so. Let's see if we can match it. The same length would help. You know, it doesn't look right if it's one side is longer than the other. Okay, right there. Okay. Now this one, I will just take the knife. I'm going to put it down pretty deep. I'm going to bring it around to the edge of the mustache. Same thing over here. We're going to put pretty deep, and you're going to go right to the edge. Now right here, I'm going to try to put the mouth in. That you see right there. All right. I'm going to dig that out a second time. And we're just going to push that out. Okay, that's it for now. Now we're going to go from the bottom up where that line is. Where did I put that line now? That's right there. Okay. Sometimes when you wet your wood, you really have to be careful because a lot of times, because the wood swells, you can't see where your lines are when you cut. And because, you know, your knife is so sharp that it doesn't take much room to cut that. So we're going to bring this down just a tad. And we're going to bring this out over here. Alright. Alright, we're going to put a little lip in there. All I'm going to do is put a little V cut right there. Just like so. Kind of hard to see from the distance I'm at right now, but if you have any questions, I'll try to catch those online. I look at the screen every so often to see if there's anything going on or any questions. Alright, so we're going to bring this down around a little bit. We're going to shape the top here a little bit. There we go. Hello, Lizanne. Or Liz. Alright, so. Alright, now we're going to round this off. And if you want these cheeks to look a little fatter, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm turning this thing around. If you want the thing to look a little fatter, what you want to do, you can recut it and make it a little deeper. It's a matter of how the shadow goes on your piece, right? So a lot of times with the nose, I'll go right along the side of the nose the last time, and I'll just go down a little bit at an angle, like this, and that will make that nose pop out a little more. Alright. Of course, you want to get rid of all the rough stuff, and I'll do that later on when I have more time. So let's put the eyeballs in. And then we'll fuss with the outside and the top and all that. There's a lot to do on one of these. You don't think there's that much, but it's more than you think sometimes. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to just file this out. And there we go. So, how do we put the eyes in? Well, it's pretty simple. It's like we've been doing all along. It's just one line. And the bigger the eye, the cuter it looks. The fatter the nose, the cuter it looks. You know, I like these little chubby things. They look nicer than something really skinny and thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go up here and I'm going to put the eye in, okay? Same thing over here. Now, it may not be as slanted as this one because I went down further. I went down this way further. You know, this is really a lot wider than this one is, so that's just the way it worked out. So we'll make it work. But how you do these eyes, I'm going to spray it a little bit with my solution again. And the solution I use is a little spray bottle with water and 50% water and 50% rubbing alcohol to 70%. Now you should be able to find it in the stores now. I really got quite a bit of it because I use it a lot with my carving stuff right now. So, but you know, if you go to Walmart or something, they should have it. They don't have it all the time, but just keep an eye for it. It doesn't hurt to have some extra on hand. So you cut your line and you go from the top of the eyeball down, okay? Just like so. Now to make that eye look round, you just want to do a little triangular cut in the corner of the eye. Alright, and then we're going to trim it off a little bit more. And we're going to trim this hard part on the bottom. There we go. And that's how the eye's put in. Alright? So when you do that little corner, it just makes it pop out a little better. Back to the hot chocolate, folks. It's now cool chocolate. And so we're going to do the other eyeball real quick. Let me sharpen up my tool on my strop for a second. I really didn't take the time to do that before I came online tonight. I hadn't done a lot of carving between last week and this week. I've been kind of busy doing other things. Alright, so we're going to do the other eye. So what you do is just follow it with your knife. Bring it up and around. Alright. And I just dug into the nose. That's not so smart. Alright. And we're going to go from the top down. Take that little corner off. If you can. Okay, I already did that corner a little bit already. You notice the eyes are a little different, so we're going to go a little deeper on this side. And we're just going to try to make that a little smaller. There we go. So there's no right or wrong way of doing these. I'm going to trim the nose out a little bit more. Round it up a little bit more. There we go. And kind of scoop it out a little bit. That makes that make it look more like a button nose. Alright. Again, I'm going to go over everything, and you know, not everything is rounded. Sometimes you have some flat planes places here and there. So alright, so I'm going to go back to the top for a second. So what I do here is there's like a little lip up here, and then I put my little hook on there, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just go around and I'm just going to scoop it out each corner a little bit, like so. Now some of these are larger than others, like this one's pretty large. You're going to have to work it down, but since there isn't a whole lot here, I'm just going to do it with the knife, and I just kind of go straight in and pop it out, just like so. Now that you have that little cross at the top, it gives you an idea where the center is, and I'm kind of off of it right now. So, you know, but if you really want a nice crisp, you just take your knife and just push it in a little bit, and then you can do this with a V tool too. You know, it's up to you. But not everybody has a V tool. not everybody knows how to use a V-tool. I didn't learn it until much later in my carving years. I probably would say the last 10 years I probably worked with a V-tool versus the last 30, 40 years of carving. So, okay, so that's how you do. You just kind of, so you have a little knob up there, okay, and then you just take a small, you can buy these probably at any craft store. I get them on eBay sometimes. It all depends. You know, the sizes are kind of weird because they're metric, and if we're in the States, we don't understand metric a whole lot unless you're dealing with metrics in your job. But because we have standard, we don't usually work with that too much. So it's hard to tell you what size that really is. But you can go to Lowe's. They have the little white ones, but I like the little darker brass-colored ones more. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to trim this off and clean this up. Oh, the one thing you do, on this top, you try to make this look like it's folded over. All right, so what we do is you take one and you continue with the curvature right up like so, and then you undercut just like that. So it looks like it's now you can do them all in the same direction, but I usually do one and then I clean up another one here, and I try to go in the opposite direction. And then so this one's really sticking underneath these two. All right, so you just kind of go around and, you know, round it up. And that's one leaf, one pine branch is done. And you kind of do the same thing, get rid of all these rough spots. All right, I'm going to do 2 of these. I'm not going to do all of these for you because it's going to take way too much time. And I don't want to bore you to death here. All right, so that's the middle right above the face. We have more in the face to do here with how to do the beards and stuff. So we're not there yet, okay? We're just going to work on these up here for a second. All right? So that's what you need to do. I have one more over here to do. So if this one's going this way, I go the opposite way over here. All right? If something really you don't do well at with carving, I would recommend, if it's eyes or nose, and I've said this before, then you just go back, get a piece of, extra wood somewhere, a scrap piece, and work on that particular one. Oh, Donna, thank you. I got the article today. I have yet to read it. I've been kind of busy trying to get ready for the storm, but I will read it tomorrow. I'll have plenty of time tomorrow. But thank you for sending that to me. I appreciate that. All right, so we have that done. Let me show you how we do the top here. It's kind of simple, but we go back to the V-tool. And I do everything with the V-tool. Now, you can make these as close together as you want or as far apart. There's no right or wrong way, all right? So, but I always do it a little bit of a curvature, like feathering, I do one side and then I go the opposite direction with the next one, okay? I'll just show you the 2 front ones so that when we look at this, we'll have it done. Now, the hard part is when you're doing this, if you go down this way, you're gonna chip some of this off at the end. And you don't want to do that. So what I usually do is I spray it a little bit with my solution because it softens it up, and I just take my V-tool and I start from the bottom up, and I just go straight up, okay? And some are going to be deeper than others, and the thing is controlling how deep it is. But, alright. And it looks more realistic if it's a little bit uneven than just completely flat. Again, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. And if you want to do a little bit of a curvature as you're doing it, that's fine. You know? Okay, so that's how you do these, and you do all four the same way. Alright? So now we're going to go down to this portion. We're going to start rounding the back out and the sides, and getting it to a point where we can put these little, I don't know what you call, you have a suggestion what they call these things. They're not gills, they're not, maybe they're not scales. They're just little, I don't know, like shingles of some sort. I know there's a proper name for it, and don't ask me to pronounce it. I would not be able to tell you what it is. I'm not good with that. I have enough problems just pronouncing normal words, let alone big long ones. So, okay. So we're going to trim this all off, and we're going to show you how to do the front here, and then the back is kind of self-explanatory. You'll see it. Again, you want to take all the rough stuff off as much as possible, because if you don't, it's going to look different when you go to paint it. Well, I've counted how many weeks we've been doing this. I think we're on our 25th or 26th project online for our classes. And I have one idea for next week, and then I'm trying to think what next week is. Christmas week. Maybe I'll skip that. I don't know yet. We'll see. But we're all homebound like most of us are. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You don't want to hack off completely rounded, because you'll lose that thickness on it. Thank you, Justin. Scales. Thank you. That's an easy word for me to say. But anyway, thank you, Justin. Yeah, I enjoy doing these. Once you learn how to do these, you can kind of not think a whole lot when you carve. You just feel like carving something and not having to think, okay, where do I have to cut? Because all these are the same when you do them. And like I said, I had one student that's all she does are these. Okay, so we're going to round this off a little bit on the bottom here. And so we've had a lot of weeks here that we've been together already, and I put most of them on a DVD. So it's been a productive time in a lot of ways for this. So I did order more lumber. That should be coming in this week, hopefully. I doubt it will come this week with all the snow coming. Maybe next week. But I have plenty here yet. I'm just trying to be ahead of the game a little bit before I get nailed with a lot of orders and I can't fill them. Alright. Okay, carving Popeye. I'll see what I can do for next week. I don't know what day Christmas lands on next week. I haven't figured that out. Haven't looked at a calendar. I'm going to round off this here. We're just getting rid of it. We're just shaping it up now. Same thing with the bottom part of his beard. I'm just getting rid of some of the bumps and squareness that you see. And because I don't do any sanding with this, Friday. Thank you, Jack. Yeah, I think we might be able to get together. I know our church just canceled all their services again because we're in lockdown here in PA. once again. Some things are locked down, but they're not saying churches have to be, but we were recommended not to meet again. And the same thing is, with Christmas Eve service has been postponed, where it's just online. There is no in-person. There is an outdoor one that I went to the other Sunday, because I've chosen not to go inside the buildings anymore. And that was really nice. So and they also have a Christmas Eve one, so I hope to get to that. It's got to feel a little bit like Christmas. Yeah. This is like a movie. The Year We Missed Christmas. Isn't there a movie like that? I think there is. Okay. You notice what I just did there? See, I pulled it, and I couldn't go any further. It wasn't going. Then you know to turn your knife around and go the other way, because you're going against the grain. And see, I see the line there, so I'm still trimming towards that line. Okay? There we go. Alright, so let me take a look at this. Okay, we're gonna start putting in our other part here. So, right here, because I did it a little bit higher than this one, alright, what we're going to do is we're going to round this off just a tiny bit. And what I usually do with this is I put little scales, thank you, just little scales from the top down to almost the bottom part of his cheek. So what I want to do is I'm going to go from the top here, because there's just not enough room to put that first. And let me see here. Yeah. And then from here, we're going to start. Let's start from the back, because this will make more sense to you. Let's do this one and this one. There's only four. There's only a pattern of 4. Okay. We don't derive there. It doesn't change when we do this. All right. It doesn't change. So the first thing I do is I take my knife. I go from one side to the other. Now, if you're drawing it on, because I normally don't draw it on, I'm just doing it to show you where to put it. You want to carve right above that. I'll tell you why. Because you don't want those lines showing up after you paint. And it's hard to get rid of all those lead pencil lines off when you go to paint it. So I'm going to go very slowly with my knife, and I'm just going to go on either side. There we go. There's one. Let's do the next one. One, and there's the other one. All right. So when we go from here, and sometimes you'll have to go back and recut it. Now the next one will go from here to here, but we're going to do this little eyebrow first. So we're going to just kind of put a little thing there, and I'm just going to do it like so. All right. It's not going anywhere. It's just a little line there. All right. So we're going to take our knife, and we're going to go up here very carefully, and we're going to cut it. 1, 2, and part of the line. All right. And we're going to go up from the bottom. And this takes, a good sharp knife and some patience to do this. But like I said, there's no right or wrong way. I mean, it's not like chip carving where you have to be exact with a lot of stuff. If one side's a little bit longer than the other, so what? It doesn't matter. All right, so we're going to bring this up a little bit closer. We're going to bring this one up a little bit better, and then this one up. Let's see. And you try to match it a little bit from one side to the other. Okay, so that's going to be part of the way out. Same thing here. I'm going to just bring this in, do this one, and do partial one there. And then we're just going to cut that out. Okay, hang on. I'm losing where I'm here, where my lines are here. Let me get my glasses on. Are they here? Oh, of course they're not. Okay. Ha! I'll have to do without. Let me see if I can find that. There we go. All right. There's one, there's a second one, and here's the third one. All right, third one's right there. All right, all right. So that is how you do the eyebrow. Now, the other one starts, when you do this, you don't go from the middle to the middle. You go from like the 1/4. So if this is the middle, you're going to go right from here, okay? And you're going to go from there, you're going to go to here. You don't go from middle to middle. You go offset it, because it will look like a shingle if you do it that way. We don't want it to look like a shingle. So, well, you do, but you don't want it from center to center. And okay, from here, we're going to go from here, and we're just going to bring it up wherever it lands here. So it looks like it's going to land right there. See how this is? Let me clean this up a little bit. Okay, so this is the next one. So we're going to take our knife and we're going to bring it up and around, and we're going to go right to the bottom of the one we just cut there. All right, and we may have to recut some of this, which is fine. But, okay, and just like so. Now here, here it looks pretty good. It doesn't need to be recut or anything because it's deep enough. So we're going to leave that the way it is, and we're going to go to the next one right here. All right. Now some of this, I'm showing you how to start it, and you just keep going with it. Okay, and I'll show you on the one that's finished what happens when you keep doing the same thing over and over again, because it's really only 4 sections to this. It's this one, and this one, but the face is in the way. All right, so when you start doing this, you're going to end up doing it down here differently. We'll do one side to show you exactly how that's done. So I'm just making this a little wet to get it a little bit easier to... So if this doesn't come out clean, you just go back and recut it. Always go back and recut if it doesn't come out right. Let me see if I can use another knife that's a little sharper. Okay, so now we need to do the other side as well. So we believe it will come like so, just so. All right, remember, we're not going to go all the way to the center. We're just going to go off center. So just imagine this being in the middle, and then the middle of the middle. So it's like the 1/4 or 1/2, and then there's 4 pieces. So you're going in the 4th section there. If that makes sense. Okay, so what I do is I go up here and I cut. All right, I bring it up. Okay, just very carefully, and right down to there. Perfect. All right. So now, how do you keep going? Well, you just keep on going. So now we're going to do the 3rd row. Now the 3rd row comes down like so. Okay. I start making them a little bit bigger, but you can do this as tight or as big as you want. It's entirely up to you. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. So we're going to do this one here. Okay, let's bring this down a little bit more. Let's get a little bit more of curvature. All right, and then I'll show you after we get this one done how we go around the face here. Because you have to do every row to know. You can't do this side and then go over in here. You have to start from the top and work your way all the way down to the bottom. If you don't, it's not going to work out right. I came up with this idea a number of years ago. There was another person online that was showing how to do these, and it was so complicated. I mean, there was all these markings all over the place, pencil marks, and it was very exact. It's almost like chip carving, and it was so complicated, and I just wanted something more simple. So here we're going to go from the face, right? This is the second one down, and from here, from under here. So we're going to go from here over to there. All right, and well, let's do that one first. because you got to do it row by row. If you don't do it row by row, it's not going to look right. All right. This is where it really challenges you to learn how to do your stop cuts and such. You know, it really does help you do things precisely, you know, and going back and recutting it. And I'll tell you, once you get used to this, you can do these pretty quickly. They have a lot of work to them, you know, and people say, well, you know, I've never had anybody complain about the cost of one of these. When they watch me do it, they understand the time that's involved with it. But like all things with handwork, you don't usually get paid for your time. All right, so that's the next one. All right, and then we'll do this one over here. And we have to do one in the back. So this, they end up being all different types of sizes. So we have to do, remember, we can't just keep going without continuing going across. So we're not going to the center again. We're going to just, all right. So we'll do the back section first. Now I'll show you how to do the mustache. And that will probably be it for tonight, but we'll get as far as we can with this, all right? Just be patient with me. All right, so now this is the next one going down, right? So we've got to cut that one out, bring it up and around, come from the bottom up. All right, I thought I could only do the front, but I can't. I have to do all of it. Okay, so I'm going to just keep going. I'm going to freehand it now because you get the idea where these have to go. So I have two more to go over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. And we'll do one over here. Off center. Off center. And you notice it's really hard to see where that line that line is if you don't draw it. So you kind of rely on your knife and your sharpness of your knife to show you where that line is. Right there. Okay? Alright, good. And then over here, again, we're going to go from center to center. So we're going to go from here. I'm going to bring this up and around, and we're going to just go right to the, not the center, but off center. All right, we're going to trim this out. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to come over, and we're going to see how far this is going to take us. I see right here will be our last one, and then we're going to have to put an extra one in. Okay, so let's cut that out. All right, so now you see it coming along. Now, remember, if this was all one, we would be having this extra row that you see here. Shoot. Okay, let's do this again. If you see this row here, all right, in the middle, underneath the pine portion, this would be another row here. So this is where the other row has to start. But because the eyeball is in the way, in the face, it can't be done like that. So we're going to just make another, this is the center one. All right? And the same thing over here. All right? And then, of course, we've got our couple in the back to do again, but let's just do this one. And one. Now, I have a suggestion. If for any reason you have a hard time doing the mustache, and I'm going to be doing that in a little bit here, you can leave it the way it is and just do a regular mustache if that's what you choose to do. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. So you can do either or. You know, it would be nice if you just put a regular one in, but I thought the scales looked really cute. I thought that just made it stand out a little bit better. But okay, so we have this done right now. And let me take that up a little higher. There you go. All right, so now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to do another center here. So let me just keep going real quick. I know this is going to look a little off, but I'm just trying to get this thing done for you guys. All right, and then here's our next one. All right, so there we go. And take your knife and kind of slice it. All right. And then we're going to do another one right here. Like I said, some are going to be wider than others. It all depends how they kind of land. All right. So now we're going to do another one here. So we'll just go 1, 2. All right. We're going to do the same thing over here. Let me see what we have here. Okay, we're going to do this one. So we're going to bring this one up and around. All right. And then we have this one again. All right, so there we go. You see the pattern that we've developed here. It just really is not very difficult to figure out, but it's just getting that pattern started and working around that face. If you didn't have the face, it'd be a lot easier. All right, so now we've got this one. Now we need to put, hang on just a second here. We need to put this one back in. Where's that? There it is. All right, so that's kind of where it's at. Okay, I'm keep going with this long. All right, so once you get down here, you keep working down until you get to the center. It keeps getting smaller and smaller as you go around the corner. I'll show you here. You know, it starts getting a little crazy because you're going to run out of space as you're going around, but just keep doing the same pattern as much as you can. You may not get it perfect. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's start with the mustache. Now, this is a little tricky. I'm going to spray this. I'm going to sharpen up my tool a little bit. I'll show you how that's done. So, I'm trying to think how I did this a long time ago. Okay, so the first thing I do is I take my V tool and I lay it kind of flat. All right, I don't keep it upright. I lean it a little bit flat. So I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. Okay, so there's the first one. Okay, then you go over here and you do the other side. And you turn it. Okay, you turn it. So this side of the blade is flat. That's what you want. You don't want it to be, you don't want it to look, I'm going to take a piece here. You don't want it to look like this, okay? You want it to look flat when you do it. You don't want it to, so, and now you've got a pattern started, and you just keep that blade flat on the one side. All right, so we've got 3 in already. And then you just work your way down. So, and again, you just kind of find where to go here and just kind of keep going with it. And kind of keep your blade in the same position when you're doing it. Now, it's really hard for me to do this because I can't keep it up near my face, Plus, I don't have my glasses on, so that doesn't help me at all. So let me see if I can make that a little bit deeper there. Okay. And right up to there. Bring that down and around. But you get the idea of how to put that in there. So let me see. Let me trim that down. That's not right there. It's too much of a point there. All right. So it's just a matter of having it really sharp and just keep going with it. All right. So I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. And I'm going to bring this down and around. Okay. And I know they're really, really tiny, but that's okay. You can just keep going on one side if you want. And then kind of match them together. Okay, see how I'm getting that scale looking. But like I said, you really need a sharp tool for this. Now, if you just want to make a regular beard, you certainly can do that. Nobody says you can't do that. Do whatever you feel comfortable doing. Notice I'm just doing one side and then I do the next side over. And that's it. Okay, so that's one. Let me get rid of that. It's really, really teeny tiny, but you get the idea. All right. You do the other side the same way, and then you do the bottom part of the beard the same way. You just start somewhere and just make a little curvature cut, and then just keep following it out. Okay, see how that's going? That's what you want to, that's the look you want. So down here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go down and I'm going to try to get that. Is it going to be perfect? No, but it will give you that neat scale look to it when you're done. I try to be careful with the edge here. Let's see if I can get that. Whoops, the other way. There we go. And sometimes if you want to make them larger, it might be better if you're just starting and trying to do it too tight. All right, so that's how I got the beard in and the mustache. All right, it takes a little bit of time to do that, but it certainly is worth it. If you just take your time, make sure your thing is nice and sharp, you know, and go with it. But you want the one side kind of flat so it looks like it's laying over each other, okay? Then just some V-cuts in there. Alright, so let me take that out a little bit. And you have to remember, I'm going against the grain, so that makes it a lot tougher to do this. But you just keep going, crisscrossing over and making. Alright. There you go. Alright, that's how that mustache is in there. Didn't work out exactly like I want because I'm so far away from it. But you get the idea. So you just keep continuing to do your piece on the rest of it around, like I'm doing now, and finish up here. And once you have that done, then you're ready to paint it. Now, how I paint it is fairly simple. I use a pine green, I use a little bit of white so it looks like a little bit of snow laying on top. The eyeballs are always a white, a light blue, or a blue, and this guy, oh yeah, it's got little dots in it. Black and a white dot for the pupil. I use a skin tone for the face. Now, this I do not do the rosy cheeks, but you can, just like you do with the Santa, if you choose to do so. And that's just putting a little red with some white, or with the tone itself, same color. So that's how it's done, folks. I hope you enjoy it. If you need these, they'll be listed on my online store that I have listed on Facebook and everywhere else. So if you're interested in a pack of 10 or pack of 6 of the others, you're more than welcome to order them. Alright, so I'm going to see what I can do for next week. I have an idea. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. If I can't get it to work out, I'll figure something out for next week. But we'll probably do something next Tuesday. So, yes, I will, Jack. I wish you were here that you could plow. I don't like to plow, but I will have to plow tomorrow. Yeah, I'll have time to do some carving, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. One day at a time. Maybe it won't be as bad as what we anticipate. Well, folks, thanks for joining me here in the Carver's Wood Shop. I hope you enjoyed this little project, and we'll come up with another one soon. Okay? Have a great night, and be safe this week. Bye-bye.